Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Alyssa Mandarak.
And I'm Cora Polanski. Hear about how the government shutdown is affecting Pennsylvania SNAP benefits and how Hurricane Melissa is hitting the Caribbean islands.
Also, the construction at Market Square came to a stop. Learn about why and if it throws a wrench in their schedule.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
225 arrests were made last week in an Interpol operation that cracked down on environmental crimes in the Americas. The Regional Bureau for Central America, supported by the Environmental Security Unit, were behind arrests. Over 400 crimes were reported, including violations of illegal logging, fishing, mining, pollution crimes, and wildlife trafficking. There were 15 transnational reports and multiple trafficking routes to Europe and Asia were discovered. Authorities highlighted a multitude of, quote, the contained exploitation of protected species for international trade, end quote. Operation Madre Tierra 7 rescued animals such as capybara puppies in Panama, a white tiger in Mexico, and birds in Colombia worth about $9,300. They also seized contraband in Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. The most commonly violated actions were forestry-related, 138 of which were linked to the illegal wildlife trade.
The EU has accused Meta and TikTok of breaching transparency laws. Last Friday, an inquiry found that both companies had violated the Digital Services Act, the EU's digital rulebook that sets strict requirements designed to keep internet users safe online. The act makes it easier to report counterfeit or unsafe goods or flag harmful or illegal content like hate speech and banned ads targeted at children. In 2024, the EU launched investigations on both Meta and TikTok, finding that both companies did not allow easy access to data for researchers, which is a crucial part in transparency obligations under the Act. Meta spokesperson Ben Walters says the company disagrees with the findings, but would continue to negotiate with the EU over compliance. Now, Meta and TikTok can file a response to the inquiry, but ultimately the EU could fine the companies up to 6% of their annual profits, which could be in the billions.
Hurricane Melissa tore through the Caribbean islands, leaving devastation in its wake this week. Melissa initially landed in Jamaica, causing massive damage to houses and major flooding. Even though Melissa left Jamaica, the country is still facing more potential threats from the hurricane, like flash flooding, with the country expecting up to 30 inches of rain. For now, the hurricane is headed towards the Bahamas and Cuba, with protective orders going out to residents of both countries, telling residents to seek shelter immediately. Melissa has been downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane. However, the natural disaster is reported to be the strongest storm to have ever hit the Caribbean nations.
This past week, construction started on President Trump's $250 million ballroom. The East Wing has been torn down for the 99,000 square foot ballroom to be built, as Trump had complained about the East Wing only accommodating about 200 people. The ballroom will nearly double the size of the main White House itself and is supposed to hold 999 people. Trump says that the ballroom won't cost taxpayers a dime because it is being privately funded by, quote, many generous patriots, great American companies, and yours truly, end quote. However, he has faced criticism from the lack of transparency about who the donors are and how much he himself contributed. The construction is starting despite the lack of sign-off from the National Capital Planning Commission, the executive branch agency that has jurisdiction over construction and major renovations on government buildings. The renovation is slated to be completed by January 2029 when his term ends.
ICE has officially filed a plan to deport El Salvadorian native Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Liberia, a country that he has no apparent connection to. The government had originally coordinated to send Garcia to the West African nation by this Friday. U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw of Tennessee said that, quote, Government employees have made extrajudicial statements that are troubling, especially where many of them are exaggerated, if not simply inaccurate, end quote. This comment comes as a reply to statements made by U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem. Bondi claims that he worked full-time as a, quote, smuggler of humans and children and women, end quote. Noem made statements that he was also, quote, an MS-13 gang member, human trafficker, serial domestic abuser, and child predator, end quote. As a teenager, Garcia immigrated to the U.S. illegally. He has lived in Maryland for years with a wife and child. This year, following his deportation back to El Salvador, Garcia was held in a prison that has a reputation of brutality, despite his lack of a criminal record. The Trump administration returned him to the States in June under the disapproving public opinion. As Trump's presidency is nearing the end of its first year and mayoral elections are on the horizon, politicians are taking the time to reflect on their next run. Reporter Angelo Esposito has the details on how a major political figure is considering another run. Angelo?
Thanks, Alyssa. Former Vice President of the United States Kamala Harris is not rolling out running for the White Office once again. In an interview with the British Broadcasting Corporation, the former vice president said, quote, "I am not done. I have lived my entire career as a life of service, and it's in my bones," end quote. During the time leading up to last year's election, former President Joe Biden was originally looking to run for a second term until he dropped out of the race towards the end of July. He then went on to endorse Harris for the Democratic presidential nomination, which her campaign only had 3 months to try and gain as much support as possible. Election results went on to favor President Trump in both the popular vote and electoral college votes. Earlier this year, Harris considered running for California governor in 2026, but in July she announced saying, quote, "After deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election," end quote. Kamala Harris's decision is not 100%, but more 50-50. 2028 is in a few years from now, and the question of a female president in the future is not out of the equation.
In recent weeks, German automaker Volkswagen has come under fire for drivers reporting major software malfunctions. Numerous posts on social media show the company's CarNet online system causing serious glitches, including frozen or blacked out infotainment screens. The issues are most common in the Volkswagen Atlas SUV, Golf hatchback, and the ID.4 and ID. Buzz electric vehicles. In vehicles from 2023 and earlier, a screen failure can disable GPS, backup cameras, and other key features. In 2024 and later models, the bugs can even block drivers from making adjustments to the climate control settings. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Volkswagen has issued service bulletins and is investigating software modules tied to CarNet, the company's built-in SOS emergency call feature, and radar systems. Volkswagen is reportedly working on a permanent solution and could be issuing a recall in the near future. Coming up after the break, Pennsylvania's SNAP benefits are looking grim for many PA residents, and Point Park has been a victim of scam emails. Learn about the continued fight to protect our digital privacy. ongoing government shutdown has halted Pennsylvania SNAP benefits from being delivered. In a post on PA.gov, the Department of Human Services said that as of October 16th, SNAP benefits will not be paid until the federal government shutdown ends and funds are released to the state. SNAP recipients will be notified when payments can resume and they can receive their benefits. On top of the government shutdown, a bill passed in July that further limits who can receive SNAP benefits will go into effect on November 1st. Over 2 million Pennsylvanians receive SNAP, and local food groups such as the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank are feeling the stress of the lack of budget and the new bill. Pennsylvania District 12 Representative Summer Lee says, quote, "What we're coming up on is an urgent crisis right now," end quote. Pittsburgh and other Pennsylvania communities are doing what they can to help in light of the situation.
As the Steel City begins to prepare for its winter festivities, the Market Square Refresh project is not stopping for anyone. This week marks the halfway point of completion, and city officials celebrated. Partners in the project and downtown representatives gathered to sign one of the many steel beams that are rising to be displayed behind the fences. The steel column will be enclosed in the brand new pavilion that centers the project. This milestone was reached just days after stop work notices were placed by the city of Pittsburgh. The Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections claimed there was a lack of permits for the work done with the steel anchoring and that the foundation and footing work was completed before inspection. Days later, the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership cleared the issue, saying that it was just a miscommunication. The notices did not impact the schedule, and Market Square is still set to reopen in April. While the construction has rehomed many Pittsburgh festivals and traditions like the annual Oktoberfest and the Christmas Village, these work efforts are projected to favor pedestrian experience year-round and withstand many more major events in the future.
Point Park Student Government Association discussed recent polling data they collected at this week's meeting. The poll was to find out how people hear about the organization. According to their findings, 57% of people hear about the organization through word of mouth, and most people believe that the organization is a voice for the staff and administrations when, quote, "that is not our goal," end quote, according to Communication Director Lucero. The meeting also discussed the creation of the Catholic Crew Club, which passed with 6 yes votes and 1 abstention, and the approval of emergency funding for the Asian American Pacific Islander Union, which requested $115 for events through this semester. That funding was approved unanimously. To watch the meeting in full, you can view it on Point Park's SGA YouTube channel. Next week's meeting will be on November 3rd at 3:15 in Lawrence Hall 200. A woman's medical condition has police stumped and concerned for a lost life. Reporter Samantha Myrick reports on this tragic mystery. Sam?
In Pittsburgh's North Side, an infant was found deceased in the trunk of a car last Friday. Pittsburgh police in Zone 1 received a call from Ohio Township Police that a woman had arrived at a hospital having recently given birth but with no baby. The woman left the hospital against advice from the doctors. After questioning the woman, officers were led to a vehicle on Federal Street in the North Side where the infant was found deceased. The woman is currently being treated at a hospital and will then be transported to police headquarters for further questioning. The medical examiner's office is working to determine the cause of death and the investigation is ongoing.
This past Saturday around 10 p.m., a worker fell 50 feet off Acrisure Stadium's main scoreboard. The man broke his fall on a mid-level catwalk below the scoreboard. The man at the time was installing production equipment in preparation for Sunday Night Football. He is currently still unidentified, but EMS was able to stabilize him after rescuing him from the landing, where he received injuries mostly to the lower half of his body. He is currently receiving care at Allegheny General Hospital in critical condition. Point Park has been dealing with scam emails, and recently these emails have increased with better tactics. Learn about the problems and attempts to remedy these digital infiltrations with reporter Juliana Brock.
As we approach the halfway mark into the semester, students continue to receive phishing emails in their inboxes. I spoke with students and the head of the IT department to dive deeper into what causes them.
So for the past about 3 months, I've been receiving multiple phishing emails that seem to be or appear to be coming from the school.
Students receive emails in their Microsoft Outlook inbox claiming to come from Point Park University.
I was a little concerned because they would send me one of those emails saying that my email is going to be removed and It's a lot of mixed emotions. It's like scared, nervous, standoffish.
Tim Wilson, the head of the Information Technology Department, explained what phishing emails are.
It's kind of like a trick message that comes in that tricks a person socially to answer questions or to give up personally identifiable information. As a university, we work very closely with both our federal agencies and our state agencies when it comes to this.
He also broke down what happens when an email enters students' inboxes.
We'll immediately change your password, ask you to change any passwords on accounts that we don't control. We will then take immediate action and try to reverse out of everybody's accounts on campus.
Phishing emails are more than just pesky, as they are also a business.
If these phishers catch one or two a day, it's worth their time.
No, I know I'm not the only one thinking, like, why is this happening?
Do we know where they're coming from? Yeah. Can we really do anything about it? It's hard. It's a lot harder for us to secure this kind of environment from a digital standpoint. Each of our close to 1,000 students has 4 to 5 on an average devices. Our students move around. So it makes it a lot more difficult for us to secure the environment.
That makes me feel nervous as a student, a little worrisome. I understand that like sometimes things are hard to understand and hard to prevent. I'm really nervous and scared to even tap a link.
With each phishing email, IT will send notices to students reminding them how to recognize scams in their inboxes.
Just don't open them up, don't engage with them, don't do anything.
Nobody at this university will ever ask you in an email message what your password is or to give you a 2-factor code that might be coming across your phone. We just will not do that. Maybe we can better it. I can't probably sit here and tell you that we will beat it, but we will make it better if we work as a team.
The IT department continues to warn students to be cautious about emails they are unfamiliar with. It's always better to ask before you click. For UView Television, I'm Juliana Brock.
This past Monday marked 7 years since the Tree of Life synagogue shooting that killed 11 people. The city of Pittsburgh released a statement of remembrance saying in part, quote, "We honor the lives of those who were taken by forging bonds of kindness and understanding so that we can continue to build a city where we all feel seen and safe," end quote. 53-year-old Robert Bowers opened fire inside the synagogue in the city's Squirrel Hill neighborhood along Shady Avenue. In June of 2023, Bowers was convicted on 63 charges, 22 of them being counts of hate crime. A judge sentenced Bowers to face the death penalty. After the break, a village celebrates Halloween with traditions that don't include pumpkins. And here your weekly Pittsburgh weather update. Don't go away.
An unusual Halloween tradition has lasted more than a century in Hinton St. George in Somerset every last Thursday of October. Children from this village carry punkies, which are lanterns made from large turnips, also known as the Mangelwurzel. This tradition comes from an old tale detailing a group of drunken men mistaking a turnip lantern for monsters. This tale is transformed into a celebratory festival every year to parade these punkies, hang them, engage in a design contest, and sing punky songs. Don Keats, a member of the Hinton St. George Punky Committee, said that, quote, "There's always somebody in the village who has been keeping the tradition going. I love it, it's quirky," end quote. Halloween, the night kids, families, and adults dress up and explore the outdoors for fun and candy. But will this growing fall weather get in the way of the Pittsburgh festivities? Weather reporter Berkeley Alexander has the report that will give you the chills, literally.
Thanks, Alyssa. As we can see today, it's been very rainy, very cold, and very damp. Not really that much fun, but classic Pittsburgh weather, am I right? Tomorrow, we're going to see a high of 53 and a low of 42, with wind speeds reaching up to 16 miles per hour. So if you have any Halloween plans, be sure to bundle up underneath if possible. Now onto this week's weather. This week's weather is on the chilly side, so make sure your Halloween costumes act accordingly. Saturday will have a high of only 53 degrees and a low of 42 by evening. Sunday, the high and low will stay about the same, with a little more sun peeking through. Ironically, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will have clear sunny skies and highs in the late 50s and early 60s, right after Halloween. Thursday follows suit, but with periods of rain throughout the afternoon. So bring out your fall attire and keep it out, as it seems like this cold weather is here to stay. I'm Berkeley Alexander with UView Television. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel or visit our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Cora Polanski.
And I'm Melissa Mandarak. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.